If you're here to learn how to make some sort of website, you've came to the right video because this is how we start a development setting or environment for a website. Install VS Code, that's the first thing. Install Visual Studio Code. The reason why I recommend this editor is because of how important it is. It's got so many extensions and other things like that. And we'll get into what those details are, like what extensions to install and all that. If extensions are foreign to you, you have no clue what an extension is, what an editor is, a code editor. It's just a text editor, really. It just edits text. It's all you have to recognize. The other thing that we need to realize is extensions are extending on what the editor already has, and we'll see when we get into the video. The first thing you want to do if you ever make a website, you need to have a folder for that website, of course, to keep all the content. So you're going to want to make a folder. I called mine website, and you'll figure out how to open a folder on VS Code in like 2 seconds if you've never touched VS Code before. But open a folder, create a folder, or create a text file called index.html, and that way you have the start of your website. The index.html is the kind of the core of your website. It's where the center is. It's where your users will be directed. Just keep that in mind while you're making this website. It could be the home page. It could be whatever you want it to be. Now, keep that in mind. This is just a plain Jane website. This is how you get started. So let's go ahead and get into the extensions. I have a ton of extensions here. Do not worry about them, okay? They're just excessive and all this. You can get like HTML and CSS support. I recommend installing that. And this is the HTML and CSS I was running with. Actually had, where is it? Well, I just had it a second ago. Oh, there it is. It's from Ekmel. I know it has 3.5 stars, but it's helped out a lot. It's helped out with some IntelliSense, which basically means autocomplete. IntelliSense is just autocomplete. Just keep that in mind. Also, you're going to want live server. Live server is a way to, it comes up right here. It says launch a development local server with a live reload feature for static and dynamic pages. That is how you can run a server locally on your machine. So that's something to keep in mind while you're making your website. You want to see it in production rather than just kind of type out your code, right? So that's just something to consider. All right, so one of the cool things about VS Code is that it has autocomplete. What I just did right there was I did an exclamation mark and I pressed tab. Now, that's just kind of how mine is laid out. You might have a pop-up, or you may be able to just do that and then enter, and it'll do it for you. So I recommend trying that out. Either tab or enter will autocomplete it for you. And this is the template for an HTML page. And you don't really need to know too much about it other than the language is English. The character set is UTF-8. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. And this is some other things pertaining to HTTP and just extra information. You don't really need to worry too much about that. This is the view and what type of device. This is a bunch of device metadata. And then here is the title of this particular page. And we would call it Pierce Portfolio Home. So this will be the home page. All right, so when you've installed, I know I'm kind of jumping around, but if you've installed Live Server and you don't see this little thing at the bottom here, restart VS Code after you've installed it. And again, to install extensions, you go here to the extensions on the left side. You search for the extension, look up Live Server, and it should pop up automatically right here, and then it should be the same one. It's from Ritwick. Ritwick is the one that will have the live server. And then install that one, and you should be good to go. After you've installed live server and restarted VS Code, you'll have this at the bottom right. Go ahead and press that. Make sure you're looking at the index.html when that happens, and we should get a page that looks just like this. Let me move my index.html over. That's the reason why it's in full screen. But if I move this over, you can now see that we have a page at the top right here. It says Pierce Portfolio Home. That's because that's the title of my page, my HTML page. And just so you see that this is a live page and things are changing on here, I'm going to put Pierce Portfolio and I'm going to save it. And there you go. You just save the text file. This is the web HTML development 101. This is web development 101. So this is kind of the setup for your development environment. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy. I know this isn't a super complicated video, but this is kind of a start to getting yourself set up for web development. I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you have a great week. And I hope you are just having a great time in general. Again, if you have any questions, put them in the comment section. And I'll be signing out. See ya.